and 5 were incorrect. I'll tell you what is the correct answer. Uh, can I know how many of you have not posted? See, at least 50 of you attended the class. 50 of you attended the class last time, that is yesterday. Why is it that only 8 of you could post the answers? Let me put a question here. Yesterday I asked you a question on EOQ and cash discount. Cash discount. Those who did not reply, write their roll numbers here. The names here better. I am posting a question. Take just 1 minute or maybe less than that. Write your answers immediately. Those of you who did not reply, just write your names here. It should not take more than 5 seconds to write your name. If you have heard what I am saying or if you are attentive. How long do you require to write your names? Okay. Now, you don't write anymore. So enough time is given. Now let me tell you the correct answer. I also posted a hint that if you read the question properly, an intelligent one could answer in less than 10 seconds. What was the answer? Your annual requirement is 1200. Cash discount is available at 1500 or more units. So, will you ever buy more than your annual requirements? Even if huge cash discount is available? See, cash discount is given once you buy on credit and make early payment. So can you afford to buy 300 rupees more, which you will not require for the next year and entire next to next year? One may argue that we may sell on credit at a discounted price. One may argue that we may hold it for the next year. There can be several arguments. But on the face of it, usually one does not require more than, or one does not buy more than his or her annual requirements. So the straight away answer should have been, which I think yes, 8 of you have given. That is because our what all you were required to write, just one sentence. Because our annual requirement is 1200, so buying 1500 is not desirable. How long would you have taken? Only if you have paid your attention to, okay, this is what is required. Anyhow, next time be attentive and also spend your time. How long do you require to see that? I'm just checking my. Let me check. I'll join you in a minute. Let me bring, because there could be some message from somebody. Class. I'll bring my phone. All right. Do you have anything to say here, or shall I proceed?
Sir, I have a question here. As
Yes,
the
yes, please.
discount was huge and the
Say it
cost,
again.
sir, the discount was huge in this
Okay.
question, and the
Okay.
total cost was coming out to be less than 12,000.
Okay.
And if we calculate the cost of on EOQ,
Mm-hmm.
it was more than 12,000.
Okay.
So by that logic, even if we are buying more than required, we were
Okay.
still saving money.
Did you take into consideration carrying cost, holding cost?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I
Okay.
did.
Okay. Okay. What was your assumption of a carrying cost and holding cost?
So for 1 year.
No, no. For 1 year, what was the figure that you assumed?
So the question, the which was given in the question, previous question,
Same
50
figures.
and yes,
Same
sir.
figures.
Yes, yes, sir.
It may sound some reasonable, but ordinarily it does not happen for a reason that if you require, see, your annual sales would be 1200. What would you do with remaining 300 units? Suppose you go by the calculation that you have made. What will you do with the remaining 300 units?
Even if we let it go to waste, I mean, I will still be saving money if we are to assume the previous question
Okay,
conditions of the
okay,
question.
okay, 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 fine. Mathematically, the answer can be correct, but again, apply some more logic. Is it desirable? Suppose maybe in your final year or maybe subsequently when you join the company, you will learn more on the concept of you know sustainability or corporate social responsibility. Although I have not gone through all these things in the financial management, it is way beyond our discussion, but still I can just update you here. Suppose you go to a restaurant with your friends, two three of you go, you may eat, let us say, two roti, maybe two plates of this thing and all, but you have enough of money. Can you order twice or thrice which you can consume? Because you would not like it to be wasted. If you keep those units thinking that huge discount is available, let us buy them, you will let it go as a waste. Will it be a wise decision? Financially you can, financially you can, but from all other angles, will it be a wise decision to allow it to be wasted? No, I give you due credit
So, sir, on a
for.
question of morality,
No,
we
no.
should.
I have said in the beginning itself that I should give you due credit for working it out. But on the face of it, the answer should have been a no because of this reason. Okay, now you have worked it out quite good. Take it one more challenge. Work it out at what maximum discount. Naturally, a 30% it is. When you reduce it, it still may be. But suppose you arrive at a 20%. At 20%, it will be just equal. At less than 20% cash discount, maybe 19, 18, it may not be advisable. So like this, you find out a break-even level of discount at which it will be equal. Try this one. It will be a good lesson for others. Is my question clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. At 30%, you are still saving. At 28%, 26%, 24%, 20, something like that, you will reach a level where it will be either of the decision. Do that. Okay. Any other question if you have up to what we have discussed so far? Yes,
22.
please. Go ahead. Go ahead. The one, just 1 second. The one that we have, yes, 22.
The question, the task which is given here.
Mm-hmm.
So the total cost is least in B and C according to my calculation.
Total cost is least at
B and C.
C and B.
B and C, sir.
Total cost is least in B and C. It cannot be.
Sir,
What is, just one
because
second, hold on. What is our premises? Our premises is that total cost is minimum at EOQ. When you buy 346 units precisely, total cost will be minimum. If you buy anything more than this, total cost will be more. If you buy anything less than this, total cost will be less. I can just tell you where you might have made the mistake. How have you calculated carrying cost? on 400 units or some other unit?
Yes, sir.
It should be calculated on.
Sir, actually, the thing is, I have considered for order of four, because if we were to, according to EOQ, we would be ordering 3.46 times, and
Okay.
it is not practically possible. You can either order three times or four times, so you will
Wait,
have to
hold on.
order four times.
Hold on for a second. Look at this slide, not this one. Look at this slide. What did we assume?
This.
So we have assumed that the orders can be placed. No, when you can ordering cost is known, lead time is known, annual usage is known, rate of usage is known. Even orders can be split into. Otherwise, there is no use of using this formula.
Yes,
I
sir.
pointed it out without seeing your calculation, without seeing your solution, that you might have made a mistake in calculating carrying cost on 400 units and 300 units.
Yes,
Ideally,
sir.
it should be calculated on how many units?
Sir.
Carrying cost should be calculated in on how many units? If all of you are sitting silent, that means you have understood nothing.
340.
What did I show
345.
it here? Carrying cost. Did not I explain to you that carrying cost will be calculated on 50% of the units? Why 50%? Because carrying cost means cost of holding, cost of a storage and all. So you don't store the entire unit throughout the period. You store maximum units on day one and least unit on last day. Therefore, carrying cost is calculated on average inventory. 1200 are your units, you are calculating carrying cost on 600 units. 300 are your units, you are calculating carrying cost on 150 units. So carrying cost should be calculated, should have been calculated on average inventory, that is 200 here and 150 here. If you revise your calculation by revising your carrying cost, you will find that whatever cost you have incurred here, it will be more than that. This will also be more than the calculations you made in A. This is where the problem with most of you lie. Had you all calculated, which I think most of you did not except one, otherwise he or she would have been participating, you would have got the correct answer. Many of you would have got the correct answer provided you made an attempt. But you did not make an attempt, so how do you know that which answer is correct? Whether the one who is speaking is true or your answer was correct? This is not a good situation. Anyhow, I'm here to advise you, to warn you, to request you, and all. It's up to you. Tell me if you have any other question. See, it is mentioned here. Part of a unit can also be bought. So part of the orders can also be made into multiple. This thing. Orders can also be made in multiple, figures. Tell me if you have any question up to this stage. Otherwise, I will move on to other issues. Now read it. Read the problem mentioned in this slide. If you have no question, if you have questions, I'll once again go back and tell you. If not, come here. Firm may not necessarily buy as suggested by EOQ if it has an option to get trade discount on buying more than EOQ. EOQ as per slide number 21, 22, it is these many units. Further assume that as per unit cost is rupees 10, per unit cost is rupees 10. Per units, per unit cost. Per unit costs, cost is rupees 10. Firm has an offer, whatever is mentioned. What all you are required to calculate total cost at EOQ, calculate total cost at 400 units, calculate cash discount on 400 units, subtract cash discount from step 2, compare result of step 4 and 1. If the amount at step 5 is less than the step 1, is it worth to buy 400 units? Work out net total cost on other discount offers also. Let me know if you have not understood any part of the problem. If you have understood the problem, You are all expected to work out, and I will reiterate, I will post it also in the group, that in several places I have been asking you to solve it, to do it. I will post all of them in the classroom once. So you must have sufficient time, you must have worked it out. Don't say the time is less because it was given at 1 day or 2 days or 3 days notice. I have been asking you to solve it on your own, and if you keep on compiling or piling it up, it is your problem. Let me know if you have not understood any part of the problem. Anything you require, any clarification you require in problem. The message for extra class, today's extra class, it was announced 2-3 days before. People knew it. It will be starting at this time, and classes on Wednesday, Thursday, etc., etc. It was all announced. 88 of you acknowledged that message, and out of 88, 35 of you are attending the class. All right, nothing to worry about on my part. Anything you should know, you need to know. If you do not, I will move on and discuss the subsequent part of this unit, that is management of inventories. So in this unit, what next we have is the concept of reorder level and the concept of safety stock. Concept of reorder level and safety stock. What is reorder level? It is mentioned here, but still I'll explain to you. When to place an order, it is a decision concerning reorder level. Suppose your daily consumption is 100 units, and it takes 7 days between placing an order and receiving goods. If you place the order when you have no more units, then you will run out of inventory and the production will be stopped. So you require a level at which you should place an order. So if you have 500, 700 units and you place an order, so by the time those units will be exhausted, you will receive the fresh inventory from your suppliers. So that is the reorder level. I have just given another example here. Suppose per day consumption is 50 units and it takes 3 days. So you should place an order when you are left with 150 units in your stock. How do we have calculate? Is simple: per day consumption times lead time. If lead time is 10 days, then you should place an order when you have 500 units. If lead time is 0, when can you place an order? Suppose lead time is 0. So when should the order be placed?
Same day.
Loudly.
So on the same day.
On the same day. Can you recall any good practices in any country or any place where these things are practiced? If not same day, 2 days, any country where these things are in practice and they are able to reduce the cost because of managing their inventories well.
Sir, I think in Japan they use
Yes, yes.
just in
There's
time
a
system.
yes, you are right. There's a concept called, what is the full form of this?
Just
Yes,
in
yes.
time.
Just in time. So if you have less lead time, you incur less cost in holding inventory. And under what condition can this be ensured? When everything runs very smoothly, people honor their commitment, and they follow good ethical business practices, and the overall environment in the country is also conducive for practicing all these things, and there is overall certainty. The trains do not get late, the flights do not cancel, there are no jams and dharna and everything on the road. Roads are not blocked. There are no unethical practices that we see every day in some part or other part of our country, unfortunately, and so is true with other most of other countries also. But at the same time, there are some good countries also where these things are unheard of. If somebody says train is late, the people in that part of the world will not believe. They simply will not believe. One of my colleagues visited Japan So he could not believe his ears. When he reached the railway station, he heard an announcement: the train is late by 7 seconds, and we apologize for that. Also, we also have a pre-recorded message: यात्रियों की असुविधा के लिए हमें खेद है. But do you think it carries any meaning? Half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, and they will continue announcing the delay in train in installments only, so that you don't run away and go for other option. If you know at the railway station that your train will be late by 3 hours and your total journey is only of 2 hours, let us say from Aligarh to Delhi, journey time by train is 2 hours only. If they announce in advance, it will take 4 hours. It will be delayed by 4 hours. You get another means and you go, you reach there. They will announcing it will be arriving there in about half an hour. Then again another 45 minutes. So you end up staying there only. So under such circumstances, can somebody think of just in time? So we have one concept called a reorder level. We calculate it at least on a piece of paper. We have some ways and means to define it that I may or may perhaps not discuss maybe for the second year of the specialization. And then there is another concept called safety stock. Suppose you have worked out that your lead time is 2 days, or lead time, let us say 7 days, but it differs sometimes by 4 days. Sometimes you receive in 2 days before, sometimes 2 days later, sometimes 3 days later, sometimes 2 days in advance. That means maximum plus minus is 4 days or 5 days, whatever is maximum plus minus, that you multiply by daily consumption and keep it as a safety stock. Let us say your plus minus time has always been around 4. So what should be your level of safety stock? 4 times 50, because daily consumption is 50. So you have 200 as safety stock and 150 as your reorder level. So 200 plus 150, that is you should order when the units reach a level of 350. So that even if the units do not reach in time, suppliers delays it, and in the past several years he has not delayed beyond 4 years, then still you will not run out of the raw material. These decisions are very crucial, because imagine a situation that you run out of stock. What will happen? The production department will come to a standstill. Your finished goods department will face difficulty. More importantly, your sales department will face huge difficulty. They have orders, they are not able to execute, and there's a possibility customers may switch. And once a customer switches, he gets better service from other company, he will never ever come back to you. So there are far-reaching consequences in managing all the aspects of business and ultimately leading to wealth maximization or otherwise. So therefore, one has to be very careful in the calculations and also recommending to the management. So if the concept of reorder level and safety stock is clear, I'll go to the next slide. Shall I move on?
Yes.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, is safety stock other than reorder level or it is included in the reorder
No,
level
safety
time?
stock will be added to reorder level. Safety stock will be added to reorder level. Just imagine a scenario that your per day consumption, as I mentioned here, is 50 days. Okay, and lead time is 3 days. So if you keep just 150 units in the inventory, and you are thinking that within 3 days units will reach your factory, and somehow some delay has taken place for some unknown reasons, even if a delay for 1 day, where will you start the production from? Therefore, safety stock reorder level should be decided, keeping in mind not only reorder level, but also reorder level plus safety stock.
Okay,
Any
sir.
other question? Okay. There are other issues in the management of inventories. Before I switch on to that, I am giving you an assignment. Look at this, ask me if there is a question. Otherwise, work out these and keep it ready. 3. Okay, this is same. Okay, no change in the discount. Ask me the clarification if you wish on the problem part. If not, then work it out and keep it ready. Okay, there are some other issues also in the management of inventory. That is, the ones that we have discussed were related to, placing order and what should be the economical order. Once the inventories are there in the godown or in stock, how to manage the inventories properly. There are certain methods. They are known by different names. One is known as ABC analysis. What is this ABC analysis? It is one of the methods of controlling the inventory that you have at hand. At times you will find the same not under the heading of ABC analysis, fast moving, slow moving, average moving, by different names. But the overall idea behind this analysis is that whatever inventory you have in the godown, classify that inventory into, say, 3 categories. Classify the entire inventory into 3 categories, call them as A, B, and C. A will be the classification of A will be the inventory which is very, very expensive, requires great care. B will be the kind of inventory which is not that expensive, an average cost, and will not require that great care. C will be the kind of inventory wherein with the least care, with the least managerial expertise, it can be managed and you will not bother much about it. Now I have given you some example with respect to one industry. Let us say automobile industry. You have, think of any industry, any firm within industry manufacturing either two-wheelers or four-wheelers. You find things like engine, you find things like tires, things like, and then at the same time you find nut bolt, etc. So nut bolt can be classified into the category of C because their value is far less compared to the engine. If something goes wrong, if engine is destroyed, some wrong thing happens to the engine, then it will cost you too much. But if you lose 10-20 nuts here and there, it will not cost much. Same thing, you take up all the inventories 1 to 100. Each inventory you classify them into ABC depending on their volume and the cost. Not only volume numbers but also the cost, and accordingly you classify them into these and then manage it. For A category of inventory, you may perhaps require excellent people, highly paid people, intelligent people, good place, maybe to manage. For C category of inventory, maybe lowest paid staff can handle that, etc., etc. I have mentioned here costliest ones. Costliest ones are handled with great care, average with average supervision, and below average with routine care. Similarly, I have given you an example of one industry. Also think of some other industries, 4 or 5 other industries, and see what are the products they are dealing in, and all the products, all the raw materials that they have, in what way can that be classified into A, which component into B, and which component or group of components in the category C. Tell me if you have any question here at this slide. Yes, please come on. Any question? Okay. If you don't have any question, this finishes our discussion on management of inventory. When we were discussing management of receivable, some data was provided to you in running text. When I noticed that data, I visited that data once again. So I thought it is better if the data is arranged in a table. So I have arranged that data in a table. Slide 15 of unit 2, data has been arranged in a table for better understanding. Solution remains unchanged. Something that I have mentioned in the red font, need not discuss in the classroom. Take your time and post your answer on my number. Post your answers on my number, which I am posting in the chat box also. Do you see any observation or unrealistic assumption in what was the name of slide? What is the slide number? 29.
28.
28 or 28? Okay, 28. Do you observe any of the above figures as unrealistic assumption? If yes, either write no. If you don't think, write no. Else, write what is unrealistic and post on my number. I have written whatever I was speaking in the chat box. Read it. If you think one of the assumptions, don't discuss it here, otherwise each one of you will not apply his or her mind. If you observe that some of the assumptions, some of the figures which I have assumed, this is all assumed data, some of the figures which I have assumed are unrealistic, then you explain privately in my message that these figures do not seem to be realistic. And if you think that everything is realistic, nothing has been assumed which seems unrealistic or unreasonable, then you write that nothing is unrealistic, everything is okay. You do it and write it on my number privately. This finishes our discussion on management of inventories. We have one more topic left for the discussion, that is determination of working capital requirements. That I will take up now, but before taking up, as usual, let me know if anything is required, any clarification is required in management of inventories. It is the last topic that I am discussing. In unit 2, one more topic is left, that is estimation of working capital requirement or determination of working capital, which I am going to take up now and will continue tomorrow also. If no discussion is required, because that was planned before, I had to make certain changes, therefore I did not discuss it then. I am discussing it now. Okay, this is the part
Sir,
that we need to. Yes.
Sir, can you upload this
Yes.
slide on Google Classroom?
Sorry.
Can you upload these sir, PPTs on Google Classroom? It is not available up there.
Okay, I'll do that. Can you think of a reason why I did not upload it? I should have uploaded it long ago without seeking a request from you.
Actually, sir, previously we have not done whatever you have asked for.
Sorry,
That's why.
say it again.
Sir, previously we have not done the same whatever you have asked for, like to read the slides before the class. That
Yes,
might be the reason.
that precisely was the reason. There is no point in sharing something with you which goes to your dustbin, and many of you perhaps could delete from your recycle bin also. See, similarly, I purposely, very knowingly, purposely did not share with you the day's schedule, what I'll be teaching on which day. I spent enough of time, as usual, every year I do it, shared in accounting. None of you could go through, even know the topic which we shall be discussing the next day. So what was the use of sharing that with you? For you, that was a waste. Similarly, in financial management also, I thought, why should I waste your maybe occupy your mobile phone space or something like that? You don't need that. You don't need, because you don't use, because you don't need. I did not share it with you. This was precisely the reason. You may like or you may dislike. Had I posted this, in time or maybe in advance, it would have served great purpose. You could have gone through the calculations before we start discussing in the class. Out of 10 calculations, at least 2-3 would have been clear to you on your own. And even if one was not clear, it would have been better discussed and cleared when we discuss it in the classroom. Okay, either I will post it in the group this one, or I'll post it in the classroom, wherever, but you will get it now. All right. This is what was left. Anything else you wish to know, or shall I start the discussion on last component of unit 2? Last component of unit 2 is estimation of working capital requirements or determination of working capital. I have explained it before also. Estimation, let me write here also. Determination of working capital requirement. Many a times people make a mistake while writing the answers in the examination, that they write, if they are asked to write determination, they write determinants and vice versa. Still, let me once again clarify, can somebody differentiate between determination of working capital requirements and determinants of working capital? Because one has already been discussed. Look at this. Determinants we have already discussed. What is the difference between the two? Determinants and determination? Cannot recollect. Determinants talk about on what basis, on what factors the amount of working capital is dependent on. You need more working capital, less working capital, huge amount, less amount. It is dependent on certain factors. They are known as determinants. For example, nature of business. You will need least working capital.
Determination is calculating or
Yes.
finding out.
Yes, you are right. Right, correct. For example, in a software industry, you will need least working capital. But in construction industry, you will need huge working capital, because several things will be blocked in net working capital. Okay, and determination is actual calculation. Should you have 1 crore as working capital, 1 lakh as working capital, 10,000 as working capital, is a subject matter that I am discussing today. So estimation or determination. How do we determine? You all know that current assets minus current liability is equal to your net working capital. Net working capital. How do you calculate it? Estimate the investment that you need in raw material. Estimate the investment you require in work in progress. Estimate the investment that will be needed up to finished goods stage. Estimate or calculate the investment that will be money that will be blocked in your debtors. Why is it so? Because you buy raw material. At times you pay upfront, at times you pay at the same time, at times you pay after 2-3 months. So we will, if you pay after 2-3 months, so it is our current liability. So we will see it later. Then investment in work in progress. By the time your units are converted into work in progress, you may be required to pay a lot of expenses in the form of wages, other direct expenses. Now your goods are ready, so it is in finished goods. You cannot sell immediately. You will wait depending on your average inventory holding period. So money will be required till such time the goods are sold. Again, the sales is not made for cash. A lot of money will be blocked in debtors. So money will be required. You will need to work. You will need to buy raw material. You will need to pay to your debtors. You will need to pay to your wage to your laborers. You need to pay several other expenses, administrative expenses, sales distribution expenses, several things you need to pay. Therefore, till such time you get back your money, you need to arrange that money, which you call as net working capital. So what are the steps? You calculate current assets, investment in current assets. Then calculate the cushion that is provided to you by the creditors. See, you are buying raw material, you are not paying in advance. Somebody is giving you credit for 2 months. So that means that your current liability you calculate, current liability like this you calculate, and take the difference between the two, which will be your net working capital that you will be required to arrange. Today being Friday, you will have a class again from 9:20. I'll stop here and we will just continue it the next day. If all of you have written your names, it is okay. If not, still you can write, and I'll see you tomorrow. Monday there'll be, on Sunday there'll be no class. When you find it difficult to attend on working days, So naturally on Sunday it will be impossible. One can say it is impossible. So all of you have mentioned your name. Lalit was the last one. What happened to you, Lalit? You did not write your name in the beginning. Lalit, are you around?
Yes, sir.
You did not write your name in the beginning.
Yes, sir. I write at the last.
Okay, no problem. I have added. So now you can skip the class.